Welcome into the Warzone Sports Network Live. I am your host, Tony Tucker. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're here, if you're new, if you're watching us for the first time, we'd appreciate it if you'd hit us with that subscribe, the like, the comment, share, because that's how we grow. And we want to continue to interact with all the sports fans out there. We had a crazy weekend. I think it was a pretty successful NFL draft weekend. I enjoyed myself. There were some surprises, some falls. We're not going to get too much into it, and I'm going to try to stay pretty positive when talking about the NFL draft. And so I'm going to give a couple highlights there, but I know we are working on some other stuff to kind of dissect the draft and what we think about it and have some fun in that arena. But Aaron Rodgers dropping a bombshell on Friday before the draft. People texting me, Rodgers is going to the Broncos. I'm like, huh? He's going to the Raiders. The Niners are making a trade. Just the craziness, like the addiction that we have for this stuff is insane, right? I flipped on ESPN and football was on. Not football like football. And I was disappointed. After watching 72 straight hours of NFL draft coverage, I was still disappointed that had happened. But let's get into this. Aaron Rodgers wants out. He wants to be traded. It was heard loud and clear. Front office freaking out. I mean, not really freaking out, but just what do you do when your MVP quarterback demands that he wants to be traded? You can't trade him, right? Be the dumbest thing ever. Is there anybody out there? Please comment. Let me know if you think that Aaron Rodgers, that if you were in that position, you'd trade Rodgers. I can't imagine a good haul that would come back. But I was sitting around because you could see the Favre jersey behind me. I grew up a huge Packers fan, and I already lived this nightmare happened to me as a fan. When they drafted Aaron Rodgers, I was incensed. I was ripped. I was crazy about it because I didn't want the Favre era to end. I would imagine there's probably a lot of Packer fans that are going through that have grown up and have only known Aaron Rodgers. I unfortunately got to know Don Majkowski, but that's a whole other thing. I don't want to take you down that road, especially if we got younger viewers out there. But Google the Magic Man. That dude was fun. Okay. Aaron Rodgers should have known that this was going to happen. You have to trust people if they tell you who you are. The Green Bay Packers, clearly, they liked having a mistress. They drafted you. You knew you were getting into a relationship where they had a history of looking elsewhere before your time was up. Favre's time wasn't up. The year that Favre left, they had been in the NFC Championship game, and if Donald Driver doesn't run the wrong route, maybe they're in the Super Bowl again. I don't know that they win that one. And that wasn't on Driver. We all know Favre had a propensity for, breaking stuff off, throwing the wrong routes, whatever it is. I forgot my promos at the top. We got a bunch of shows on this network. Go and check them out. Welcome to the War Zone with Peyton from Peyton Sports. Check that out. Talking about his Cleveland Browns. They absolutely crushed it. Thank you, Mike, for the reminder. We got Into the Crosshairs, an NBA show coming on tomorrow. Sports Force on Wednesday. And Welcome to the War Zone will be back on Friday. But Aaron Rodgers and this sort of maybe he was blindsided by the Jordan Love thing. Get out of here, bro. You can't tell me that you didn't know that was at least a possibility. Now, you're complaining about not having enough weapons or not feeling respected, or maybe it's about money or security or who knows. We all have our own speculations on it. But if you thought that they weren't going to do the same thing that they did to my guy, you're out of your mind. They were absolutely going to be planning, and it's the smart thing to do business-wise. And I could see why you'd be bent out of shape about it. Favre was upset about it. He didn't want to go, learn a new offense, be traded to the Jets. So then we get to the Aaron Rodgers wish list. I'm reading it. I'm like, oh, number one team that everybody's like, he wants to be traded to the Las Vegas Raiders. I was like, really? Aaron Rodgers wants to play with John Gruden. Could you imagine that? John Gruden hitting Aaron Rodgers, the cerebral guy who thinks he's super smart and elitist, having John Gruden, knock on wood if you're with me. Rodgers, are you with me? Huh? How about a spider Y2? My John Gruden impression sucks, clearly. But he's not going to do that. There's too much ego in that room. John Gruden would love to have a quarterback of the caliber of Aaron Rodgers, but I can't imagine that marriage really lasting in Las Vegas. And also, too, why would you want to go to that? Because the next team that was on that list was the Denver Broncos. Why would you want to go to a division with Patrick Mahomes and the rising Justin Herbert? Like, I just would not. That would be like the last division that I would want to go to end my career. Maybe the NFC West. You could definitely make an argument for not wanting to play against the Rams and Seahawks and the up and coming Cardinals that everybody's always talking to me about. I may not be there. I love this. Thank you for stopping in. Joe Morley would not appreciate this, but Bobby Wampert reminding everybody that the Raiders suck. I don't know. But I'm looking at the wish list, and then it's the 49ers. Obviously, that's a good situation. You want to go play in that Shanahan scheme, and then they have this super great defense, right? So we get all of those teams. None of them to me seem like the best one because, again, NFC West he'd be landing in, and Aaron Rodgers does not want to have that kind of competition. So if he's in the NFC North, and to me, really has his best chance to win a Super Bowl is staying in Green Bay. I know he doesn't like what they're doing, but Green Bay gives him the best chance for winning another Super Bowl. But where would the perfect landing spots be for Aaron Rodgers? The title of this episode. Where would the perfect one be? Now, I think Minnesota would be an absolute amazing spot. He loves Zimmer. He's a defensive head coach. You know, he's going to have weapons. Jefferson, I like the Irv Smith Jr. I think that he could play. You get a stud like Delvin Cook in the backfield. Zimmer's going to take the defense. Aaron Rodgers becomes, de facto offensive coordinator there. And then you get, Zimmer tighten it up, locking it down on defense. And now all of a sudden the Vikings are to the top, right? I would also kind of agree the Bears, but the Bears have never had a quarterback. So I think that they would they'd get the bends. If they went from the history of the Caleb Haneys and Rex Grossmans and they went to Aaron Rodgers, they'd be freaking out in Chicago. They wouldn't even know what to do. They'd all be contacting therapists. We've never had a chance like this. We've never had a quarterback. But they're not going to trade him to the Vikings. He's not ending up on the Vikings. He's not in a Favre situation. So he doesn't end up there. But here's the one team that I think, without question, he goes there. They're a Super Bowl contender within a year, kind of like the Brady situation in Tampa. And that's the Washington football team. Now, hear me out. I know you're Washington, Dan Snyder, whatever. They did the right thing. They hired Ron Rivera. Ron Rivera, a defensive coach. He shows up with Washington. F1 isn't a huge fall off from Devontae Adams. A lot of people go, oh, stop. Go, come on. F1 has been putting up numbers with average QB play. I know we all like to get into the fantasy side and stuff, whatever, and a lot of it comes in garbage time. But with Aaron Rodgers, making him the number one target, hitting him with those back shoulders, they added Samuels, who's a really good number two. Rodgers really hasn't played with a 1 and 2 like that since probably Greg Jennings and Jordy Nelson were healthy at the same time. Maybe Devontae Adams and the end of one of those guys or James, it doesn't even matter. Those two would be elite weapons for Rodgers there. Give me a break. He'd make Logan Thomas like a Pro Bowl tight end, for crying out loud. That's how good Aaron Rodgers is. And again, you have another situation where Aaron Rodgers gets to come in and be the offensive coordinator. I wouldn't even know the offensive coordinator's name. That's what he would do. He would just take over. Rodgers runs the room, and the Washington football team gets to compete against the Cowboys. Did anybody else see the Cowboys draft? like I said, we're staying positive on the draft this show, so I'm not going to go there. New people just jumped in. Thank you for coming in. I see you and I appreciate you. Hit the subscribe button if you got a second. I was just saying the Washington football team is the perfect landing spot for Aaron Rodgers. Antonio Gibson, I haven't even mentioned him yet. You get a quality running game, and that defense is going to get you the ball and turn it over. Imagine if that defense got to play with leads and got to pin their ears back in the fourth quarter because AR-12 is just out there putting points on the board. Ron Rivera deserves this too. Like, this man went to a Super Bowl with Cam. Now imagine if he had somebody like Aaron Rodgers on the other side of the ball. All of a sudden, the Washington football team looks like a favorite. And this Brady thing can't run forever. He can't keep taking peanuts in Tampa and bringing back all 65 starters. Like, they're even bringing back practice players. They're like, well, Tom's a pretty nice guy. Free avocado. We'll stick around. And we'll see what happens. Palm trees. It's a little humid here in Tampa, but Tom's a nice guy. I don't even know how the Buccaneers get all their players back like that. Absolutely, completely incensed. But I want to know the perfect landing spot for you and Aaron Rodgers. But when I'm looking at it and everything I'm reading, Ian Rappaport's like, yeah, he's got to give back like $20-something million. That's a lot of money. That is a lot of cheese to be handing back to the Green Bay Packers. That was a bad joke. Please don't stop watching because I made a cheese joke in reference to giving money to the Green Bay Packers. But I can't imagine him doing that. I can't imagine him retiring and hosting Jeopardy. I think the dude's got an ego and wants to win more Super Bowls. I really believe that's what it's at, but he also wants to stick it to Green Bay for not fully catering to his every whim. And that's just not how Green Bay operates. But I honestly think that if he decides he wants to retire, Green Bay, they'll dig in. They'll be like, fine, we will move on. They'll go out on the market and try and trade for like a Nick Foles, even though they wasted a first-round pick and traded up to get Jordan Love. They'll do something like that. They're not afraid of looking foolish. And I mean, they've had a good run. 30 years of Hall of Fame quarterback play. I mean, they're due for a skid. It has to. Like, they have to hit some sort of a bump. That's enough on Aaron Rodgers. But I would like to hear from anybody out there, where do you think the perfect landing spot is? Before we get into some NFL draft talk and who I think were the winners... All right. So my first winner of the NFL draft, and I'm not going to go over all the winners and losers and whatever, but I wrote down 3 teams and names that I was very happy with and really enjoyed. And Danny Dimes is going to be Danny C-Note. I love the fact that they're going all in for him. They got help on the defensive side of the ball. Like I said in the last topic, they play in an absolute crap division. Eagles, 3-4 win team, maybe. Got any Eagles fans out there who think the Eagles are going to be any good? Yeah. It's going to be a lot of crying, Eagles crying this season for them. But you get him Tony in the first round, and you got Galladay out there. You know the roster, and Slayton and Shepard, Ingram, if he stays healthy, and Saquon in the backfield. Danny Dimes, if this guy doesn't put up, it is done. Like, they will be moving on, no questions asked. But I absolutely love this offense and the versatility that you have to be able to win. So if this pick is ever going to work, I really believe that in that first 10 to 12 games, we need to see signs that final stretch, that final 6-7 games, the Danny C-Note is going to be balling and just making it rain Benjamins all over the Meadowlands or wherever they're playing in New York these days. But I loved it. They said, we got this guy, we traded back, and we got Tony. Some people think it's going to be a steal. So versatile. Kind of reminds me of Percy Harvin. Percy Harvin had some migraine issues, but that dude could punt return. He could do everything. When he played with Favre for that 1 year in Minnesota, he was a monster out there. Absolutely unstoppable. Smaller, but played physical, could do a lot of things. So I like what the Giants have done for Danny Jones, but it is time. If it doesn't work now, it's not going to work. And Daniel Jones is going to be considered a bust. and he'll be a great backup quarterback on somebody's team. A solid backup quarterback. I don't know. Kind of like, it'd be like, I feel like having Frank Reich. Although Frank Reich had a monster game for Buffalo back in the day. The next one that I want to talk about is the Baltimore Ravens and the Jackson 5, right? I have been saying this. We don't know if Lamar Jackson can actually be a competent passer in the NFL. We already know, and I call him the best running back in the NFL. But they went out and got this dude, Bateman, at the end of the first, and then they get Tylan Wallace. So now he's got a couple young receivers. These are the Jackson 5 he's working with. J.K. Dobbins in the backfield. Mark Andrews is a stud. I don't know if he's a Tito or Jermaine, but he's a stud out there. Jackson 5 references. I really got to update my references for the young folks. And then you get Hollywood Brown, going to be able to maybe not see somebody over the top every time because you got Wallace, he can scoot, and then you get Rashad Bateman, a bigger receiver. That's what I was always saying. I was like, we got to get him a receiver who's young and can see over the steering wheel. We need him to get a guy who's 6'2", 6'3", and can go up and get a couple balls when you need him late. Because that's what you have to do sometimes in the comeback. And who was he throwing those jump balls to? Willie Snead and a formerly retired Des Bryant. That was not going to work out. So I absolutely love the fact that they are giving Lamar Jackson the chance to be the leader, to be the Jackson 5. Well, technically the Jackson 6. I can't really count. I should have thought about that one better. And my third and final winner of the draft, Mac Jones. Mac Jones falling to the page. I spent a little time at a birthday party this weekend with one of my best friends who's from the New England area, loves the Patriots, calls me on draft night, texts me on draft, cannot believe that all the Mac Jones hype, and then he falls to Mac Jones. Now I'm going to spend a little bit of time with this one because this one to me is not only a winner, but it's also like potentially like a really great thing. So Mac Jones, and I put up Mac Jones Uber. Like if Mac Jones can stay out of trouble and stay on the field, like you get put in with elite coaching. That's what he had at Alabama, where he was able to thrive. Now, is he going to get Heisman-worthy talent in New England? Probably not. But I think you have 2 or 3 great coaches that are going to scheme. The offensive line is going to be strong. And Mac Jones is going to be able at some point to transition into this offense. And Belichick is going to be like, all right, we already saw today. Belichick or the Patriots released something saying that Harris and Michelle are going to be a 2-headed monster in the backfield. We already know that this Patriots team is going to be a run-heavy team. So if and when Mac Jones does have to step into and play some football, he is going to be handled in the right way. They're not going to ask him to go out there and win the game. They're going to go out there and ask him not to lose the game. And they've already talked about how smart he is. That's perfect. Just go out, make the dinks and dunks, nothing flashy, allow Belichick's defense to make the other team kick field goals and create turnovers. This pick to me allows Bill Belichick to potentially also, because the style of play, if he goes with Justin Fields, then there would be a little bit of the athleticism conversation that you could have. Like, oh, well, Justin Fields or Trey Lance or one of these guys, they're the new wave quarterback. You know, of course they're doing things that Brady didn't do. They have all this ability. Mac Jones, very similar in style to Tom Brady. So if they bring him in and then have that success, this allows argument points for the Bill Belichick, it's my system over the player Tom Brady argument. Because Tom Brady won those points. He already said, it's me. The system is me. I went to Tampa. I balled. We balled. Defense dominated. We won a Super Bowl. People want to play with me. But now Bill is going to get a guy that's similar to their system, similar to Tom Brady, and be able to say, oh, no, I can do this with any competent, pocket passing quarterback. I can go out and win Super Bowls. He's going to get that chance. And I look forward to having those debates. If Mac Jones, who I think is good, I just didn't like the 49ers giving up, first round picks, moving up for Mac Jones. I just didn't understand it. I'm like, the league is all going this way. League is all going mobile. Why are we giving up 3 first-round picks for Mac Jones? They didn't happen. I think Trey Lance is going to have a phenomenal career if he can stay healthy and Kyle Shanahan can keep his job long enough. I mean, the guy does have 3 losing seasons, but I'm excited to see how that plays itself out and when Trey Lance gets on the field. But this is about the Patriots. Bill Belichick is going to have the opportunity to say, look it was me, and he's going to get to do it longer because Brady's not got that many years left. I don't care how much vitamin D is in an avocado. This guy cannot play into his 50s. Got a couple more runs left in him in Tampa. And I mean, unless they turn it into full 7-on-7, then all bets are off. Tom could still be sling. Tom looks better. I saw photos of Tom Brady. I was like, wait, that's him at 26 and this is him at 40, whatever? It's insane. That mashup that people always show you of like George Blanda and Tom Brady, they don't even look like they're the same species. It's like these aren't both human beings. They both can't be the same age. I'm excited to see if Mac Jones, and this will also tell us a lot about Alabama quarterbacks because we're getting to see it with Tua, and he's in a good system, good coaching. Brian Flores in Miami, they went out and got him weapons. And AJ McCarron, who I think played on like the Texans, he never really had a shot. Like, he wasn't as highly touted as these guys, but it's another Alabama quarterback off the top of my head that I remember getting to the NFL. And I was like, I kind of want to see if he could play. But I don't remember, like Cincinnati. I think he was a backup there for a little bit. But this move, this could be the one where we all look back and we're like, wait, how did Mac Jones slide past the Broncos and slide past a couple other teams that probably should have drafted this kid? And we'll all be doubting it. But then Belichick will be able to step up and say, no, it's my system. I told you guys that we turn out championships in this place. Take a quick break, and then we're getting into the NBA. Okay. I need some help. If there are any Laker fans watching this right now, please tell me that everything is going to be okay. Ooh, we got this. Hang on. Going back here. Best landing spot is the Saints, but Rodgers wants to be a Raider or Bronco. I don't know if he wants to be a Raider or Bronco, but he definitely doesn't want to be a Packer. I can't imagine him wanting to be a Raider. A Bronco, maybe. But definitely not. I don't know. Antonio Brown was there, set his feet on fire just to get away. I can't imagine that Aaron Rodgers wants to be a Raider. A Bronco, maybe. He saw what Peyton Manning got to go there and just do whatever he wanted. They got him whatever he wanted. Like, I think that is attractive to him. And we already know the guy has a cannon for the snow. So, but yeah. Yincy, I think it is. Thank you. I like this. The Saints. I could definitely see that. Okay, on to the Lakers. Somebody tell me I am Chicken Little every single night, screaming at my TV. The sky is falling. It is coming down. This team that I thought that I was like, it's going back to back. Lakers have this in the bag. LeBron, even when LeBron goes down and AD goes down, I was like, it's fine. They're all coming back. It's going to be great. We got Drummond in the fold. We got just role players galore. Nothing can stop the Lakers. And then they get it all back together. And it's not that they're back together and they're losing. It's who they're losing to. The Sacramento Kings without De'Aaron Fox and without Harrison Barnes. And LeBron James is playing 30 minutes. There wasn't even like a real minutes restriction. And they're losing. And then they're down 15 or 20 at some point to the Raptors in the third quarter. Just getting embarrassed. I just don't see. Every time I talk to somebody, they're like, don't fear the Jazz. Don't fear the Suns. Don't fear the Clippers. Are you kidding? All of these teams right now would whoop the Lakers the way they're playing. The defensive rotations are trash. People aren't hitting shots. They're not rebounding. They're not making free throws. It just, and then it gets so bad to the point where LeBron James, they're saying possibly injured. He's out tonight in the back-to-back against Denver. I don't even know if I can watch it because I can't take it. I'm in such a good mood. Personally, in my personal life is balling. I love my family's thriving. My kids are, I was just playing in the pool with my kids before. I'm so grateful to be able to come on and talk sports with all of you wonderful people. But when I watch the Lakers, I get into the worst possible mood because I am just watching a team with so much talent just get drummed. And now I'm going to watch the future, the guy who I think is going to win the MVP, the Joker, is going to put it on the Lakers tonight. It's going to be, and I don't care about the towers down low. He's going to end up with a triple-double. It's going to be, it's just bad. Facundo, their backup point guard for the Nuggets, is going to be huge. Mike's a Laker fan. Mike, then please tell me why the sky isn't falling. Because as far as I'm concerned, for the Lakers, like, this season is a wrap. And it needs to be on to the next one. I am so, like, I freak out. And I go through these things. If they end the regular season on a 5-game streak, you'll probably see me back in here like this never even happened. But I watched these last 2 games, the Lakers' last 2 games, and I am losing my mind in front of the TV and cursing and saying things I shouldn't. Because I don't get it. I don't get the rotation sometimes. Oh my goodness. I need somebody to help me understand what is going on with the Lakers. But I'm going to end on this. I appreciate there's a bunch of people coming in, new people. Hit that subscribe button if you're here on YouTube. We're so grateful for you. If you're dropping in on Twitter or Facebook or whatever it is, comment and join us. I'm going to end on this. The NBA is potentially going to, I don't know what's happening. We got to get vaccinations. I don't know what's going on. This is tied into the Lakers. I should have done a better job transitioning. I'd love to say that normally I do a better job, but that'd be a lie. Dennis Schroeder's out tonight and possibly out for a bunch of other games because he's COVID protocols or whatever. I don't get it, but if this happens, and don't get me wrong, I'm not here to be like, we lost Dennis Schroeder, it's season's over. That's not what that's not me. I'm not that crazy. But in the playoffs, if we get to a game 6 between, a second round matchup, the Bucks playing the Sixers, and we are finally going to get to see Giannis deliver on some of that promise that we're always talking about, that 2-time MVP, he's about to have his moment, and then he's pulled because he came in close contact with somebody, it's going to crush NBA fans. It's just like, I don't understand. If I got an alert on my phone saying that it's available to everybody, the NBA should be able to get vaccinations for all of their players. We should not have any hiccups. Adam Silver, you've already crushed my fantasy basketball season because you made all of these people play and my team fell apart at the end due to injuries. I hope Jamal Murray is healing and back out there. We're going to miss him in the playoffs. I hope that Donovan Mitchell gets healthy and he's out there. I hope LeBron can stay healthy and he can be out there. De'Aaron Fox, Harrison Barnes aren't going to make it. But yes, just name dropping on my fantasy team that fell apart in the final 3 weeks of the season. 15-1, and I fall apart, and I'm out of the playoffs in the first round. Just goose egg. But let's focus on the NBA and what could potentially be happening. Is that we could be running into a situation where the Nets, I want to see somebody beat the big 3 healthy and on the court. I want to see the best of the best collide. That is what I love about sports. And you as a sports fan should love the same thing. Your favorite team. We want to see the Phoenix Suns finally get over the top. We want to see Chris Paul finally get over the top against a healthy team if we're in there. I don't want to see anybody beat the Lakers, but if and when they do, which I hope they don't and they won't, but if they do, I want to see everybody at full strength. I don't want to get, breaking news before the game. Devin Booker came in close contact, and now he will not be part of a game 6 or a game 7, a deciding game, and he wouldn't be part of the next round of the playoffs or the NBA Finals. So I'm not sure what's going on, but let's get the vaccinations. Let's get our NBA stars on the court together. Absolutely. Crush it. This is your time, NBA. Get it we shouldn't have any players, starters on teams missing because of these protocols. And I guess there is like maybe there'll be somebody who says like I just don't even want it. I'll take my chances. That's a different story. I'm not somebody who's forcing things on people, but I'm saying if it's an option, let's get all of our NBA players vaccinated so we don't have any stars missing games when the postseason starts. All right, Mike, and let's get this last comment in here. I appreciate everybody for coming through. Yeah, I should be getting you pumped for the playoffs. NBA playoffs are going to be magic. We're getting these play-in games. LeBron's complaining about it. I love it how, like, this is LeBron. You're better than this. Save that for Mavericks fans. My boy, Nick Mack, into the crosshairs on tomorrow night. And the Dallas Mavericks fans and Mark Cuban. Let them complain about the play-in. Don't worry. You're LeBron James. You get into a 7-8 matchup, just dust them. And let's move on. NBA. I love the NBA playoffs. And even in the East is going to be more exciting this year. We got the Knicks. People on the Warzone Instagram today putting out things. Could the Knicks knock off the Nets? And all these people love Nets are running straight through it. Then all of a sudden there's 15 posts, 15 comments. Yeah, the Knicks. Yeah, I think the Knicks could take the Nets. What? 4 months ago, you were telling me that this was unfair and unstoppable in Brooklyn. And now all of a sudden the upstart Knicks are going to go Hoosiers, Gene Hackman style on them? Again, dang it. Why didn't I say High School Musical or something more current? That's not even current. Damn it. I suck at this game. Oh, NBA playoff. I can't even tell you how excited I am to watch, to see if Giannis can break through. Maybe the Celtics get it together. Maybe Tatum just goes off for 60 in a playoff game. Maybe Steph plays his way into the playoffs in this crazy, ridiculous money grab the NBA is trying to put together in a playoff scenario. And Steph goes 50 and 60 and gets the Warriors in for a first round beatdown to the Phoenix Suns. And Chris Paul and Devin Booker take him out nice outside and just and just smack him around. Put a lot of people in on this show, carrying a good number. I feel good about that. And I appreciate your time. And so I'm not going to take any more of it. But if you are here and you're new, please think about hitting the subscribe button. We appreciate your time and we want to interact with sports fans. That is what we love to do here. So I am going to get out of here. I'm going to hit you with the end thing. I will be back on Wednesday night, hopefully talking more heavy draft coverage. Until then, I'm going to be trying to get Aaron Rodgers traded to the Houston Texans so he can know the pain that I felt when Favre became a New York Jet.